In today's episode of the vlog, I show you my wife's family's prized cow, an attack dog terrorises the neighbourhood, and we catch a plane.
Good morning from Itapema in the south of Brazil. It is 6:45 in the morning. Beautiful start to the day. The sun's just peering behind those clouds there. There's a couple other people on the beach already out exercising. And you know, I found as a general rule of thumb here in Brazil, the earlier you can wake up and go for a run, the easier that run will be. And I found myself over the course of the last 2 weeks here in Itapema on the beach becoming more and more addicted to my morning runs. If I don't do them, I start to feel anxious and upset with myself. But definitely have been suffering the last few days because I've been waking up at like 8 o'clock and getting onto the beach by about 9, and it's already too hot by then. It's really beneficial to get up early here because it's just so much cooler. And I know in about an hour from now the humidity will rise, the heat will rise, the run will just not be as easy. So let's get started, let's get going. Whew. But today is a day of travel. We've got a long way to go later on, so that's another good reason to get up early and get prepared. One thing is maybe a negative of running at this time in the morning is the water feels a wee bit colder than it usually does. It's usually like bath temperature here in South Brazil. But this time in the morning it just feels a wee bit cooler. Probably just a perception thing. But look, the water's gorgeous. That was a nice easy one this morning. I didn't really go at full pelt. I've been going for almost exactly an hour and 10 minutes. And 5.1 kilometres, but I haven't been running all of that. Most of it's been walking. Tell you what, keeping an eye out behind me because right here in this street corner, there's a tiny little pincher dog that's sat here most of the time. It's probably too early in the morning for it, but he sits there in the middle of the street and he watches every single person that walks past and inspects them, and if he doesn't like them, he attacks. And that is more often than not. It's really funny to watch this tiny little dog, and he just savages anyone that provokes it. And by provokes it, I just mean simply coming into his street. He sits right plank in the middle of the road, and he knows to get out of the way for cars, but in particular bicycles and motorbikes. Any motorbikes or bikes that pass it, he's there, he's onto it. And I've been watching it from the balcony up above. Last night I managed to capture it in action. It was really funny. Check this out. Oh. He sat up here on the balcony for literally about an hour, looking down at the street and waiting for that dog to appear. Because when he appears, he sits right there smack in the middle of the road and chases anything that moves. It's so funny. It's the funniest thing. For that dog, it's like his job to protect the entrance to his house. Anyway, we're getting ready to go now. We're getting packed. We have got 2 planes to catch today. One from here in, well, we're going to drive from here down to Florianopolis and we're going to catch a plane there. to Sao Paulo, Congonhas Airport in the city centre of Sao Paulo. Then we're going to fly from Congonhas in Sao Paulo, we're going to fly north to Vitoria, which is Teka's hometown. And we'll get there quite late at night tonight, to be honest, probably, I think it's like 11 o'clock or something like that. The first flight from Florianópolis is at 7 PM anyway, so quite a late one. It's like all the trophies. Teka's grandfather was a farmer and he had prized cattle, believe it or not. He used to take his cattle all around Brazil to competitions. My grandfather's no longer alive, but when he was, these trophies are some of the ones he won for his champion bulls. I believe he even created a brand new species of cow or something like that. I might be getting that a little bit wrong, but that's what I've been told. And these are just a small selection of some of his winnings from the days when you used to have cows. Quite interesting. And these are all from like the 70s and 80s, a long time ago. I think that's awesome. As I've seen as well, and I've kind of not shown you this before either, there's also a photo of one of the prized cows, prized bulls. The male cow, that bull. There it is there, look at that. That is an impressive beast. Obviously no longer alive. You know, this was like a long time ago. Ancient stories. But I think that's absolutely fascinating. A lot of modern day Brazil was built on agriculture. So these are, you know, stories of history, really. It's fascinating. Like I say, all of these were from before I was even born, in the 1980s, early 1980s, and in a different part of Brazil, from up in the north. A really fascinating history and story of Teka's family, her grandfather, like I said, who's no longer here. I've told my story of my grandfather on my YouTube channel before because he's got a fascinating story as well. I love to find out more stuff about people of history and the kind of things they used to get up to and all their achievements and stuff.
And how about this for a piece of family history? Teka and I wear gold wedding rings. The gold from these rings came from one of her grandfather's gold medals he won for one of his prize bulls, which was melted down to make these rings, so we literally wear the history of Teka's grandfather's heritage as a rancher on our hands.
Should be packing, but I'm putting it off. Instead, I'm telling all of Teka's family stories. And since her mum and dad have been kind of putting this apartment together and taking out old stuff and putting them on the wall, there's some more family history. Who do you think that is? She sat here next to me, but she doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't like being on camera. But she does exist. Say something.
Something.
Wow. So I love Brazil. Whole city's dead tonight, Sunday night. Outside a pharmacy there's a bar next door and there's a wee party going on. Is that samba? Pagode? Huh?